Have you ever wondered how do these MMA fighters train 4+ hours a day? And I'm gonna tell you the answer. It is not steroids. If you understand martial arts in general, if you want to be a pro or amateur or you're just training to get better, you need to understand this concept. And this concept, the people in Thailand, the Thais, who train Muay Thai, they understand this very well. When I went to Thailand, sparring with Thais, they're not fucking killing each other. It's very, very playful, touch sparring. And if you kick a Thai hard or punch him hard, he's not going to spar with you anymore because that's just not how they do it. Now we'll take that into regular training. Let's say you have 4 training sessions, an hour long each. You do MMA in the morning, and then BJJ, and then Muay Thai, and then BJJ again, for example. You want to go 70%. You never want to redline. If you go 50, 70%, just training technique, and then when it comes to sparring, 80% max, don't go so hard, don't be dying after practice, you won't get sore the next day, and then you can train the next day. And when you focus more on technique rather than trying to win the spar or win the practice, which is the most fucking brain dead, mentally retarded shit I've ever heard, you become a lot better. Because of this knee injury, I couldn't roll. Which in BJJ that's sparring, I couldn't because my knee was fucked. Yesterday, since I've been just going super light, focusing on technique and learning the techniques, when I came back, after over a year of not training BJJ, my first roll, I fucking destroyed a guy who's been training that whole year. And just focusing on technique, not even going hard in that spar. So that's just what it is. You have to go 70%. 70%. And you might be thinking, like, what about conditioning and stuff? Do conditioning work outside. And even when you do conditioning work, you're not fucking, like, if you're not training for a fight, if you don't have a fight lined up right now, there is zero need to do hard conditioning where you're fucking barely making it out of practice. That's stupid. If you're training for the fight, then it makes sense to do that so you can, like, get the most out of it right now. But if you do that every practice, it's not good for the long term. So you get the most out of it right now and it's great for you right now. But then if you do it every single day, the results start going like this. Because the reality of the situation is you can't go hard every practice. Because if you go hard every practice, the next practice, you won't be able to go as hard. So automatically the quality drops, but you still feel that it's as hard because you're trying to go your hardest, right? It's just so much better. Go 70% the whole time, focus on technique, and you will be able to train so much. I'm doing 2 sessions a day. Sometimes when I go to jiu-jitsu, I train for 2.5 hours. So that's 2 sessions, 2.5 hours. And I have a really, really bad knee. It hurts when I walk. And after the session, after the session I'm not sore. The next day I'm not sore. Even yesterday after sparring, the next day I was not sore. So you have to understand 70%. This is exactly how Firas Zahabi, the best MMA coach in my opinion, he was GSP's coach over in TriStar in Montreal. This is exactly how he trains and how GSP trains. It's his philosophy of training, and this is very, very important. It's the same philosophy I'm taking myself. When I get back to health, when I can actually train properly, I'll be training 4 or 5 hours every day when I'm living out in TriStar, training with Firas. Sometimes with GSP if he's there, but obviously that's not the point. The point is I'm going to be there training with the best of the best, and I'm going to be going 70% so I can make every single training session. So I should have said this so much earlier in the video, but I'll just say it now. Let's say one person, he kills himself on Monday, like goes as hard as he can, and he's sore every day until Thursday, and then he trains as hard as he can, and then he can only train on Monday, right? Now let's say there's someone else who trains 70% every time. And let's say he goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. If you're training 70%, you can train multiple times a day. But let's just say for the example, he's only training 4 times a week, going 70%, compared to the guy that goes 100% and he can only train twice. Who's going to be better? Sure, the first guy who's training twice a week will have better conditioning in the short term, and he'll feel like he's getting better in the short term. But within 2 months, he's trained 8 times, and within 2 months, he's trained 16 times, and the other guy has trained 32 times. 16 or more hours if each training session is an hour long. If someone trains double the amount of you, even if they're going at 50%, they're going to be so much better than you. So if you take that advice and you decide to train 50 to 70%, you will be able to train multiple times a day for the rest of your life. It's not hard at all. So yeah. And you have to make sure you also focus on, stability, making sure, injury prevention, stretching, things like that to make sure you don't fuck something up. But if you focus on injury prevention, train at 50 to 70% when you're not in camp or not training for some competition, then you're going to be completely fine. And you'll be so much better than the fucking brain dead knucklehead retards who just fucking train hard every single second or every single training session. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you in the next one.